Buenas, bienvenidos a este vídeo de implantivino.net. Vamos a seguir con este encuentro de la atracción sexual, que lo combinamos en el anterior, una pregunta impactante que nos ha tocado mucho porque ya por fin hemos visto, por lo menos yo, muchas cosas, bueno, digo muy concretas de la vida que, especialmente cuando uno no se daba cuenta de esa influencia de espíritus y todo eso. Vamos a saludar ya, no sé si se oirá muy fuerte la voz, por orden alfabético. Venga, Ana Pilar, de Argentina.
Hola, buenas tardes a
Y
todos.
Claudia, de Argentina también.
Buenas tardes.
Vamos a visualizar juntos más partes de este encuentro y empezamos ya. Y ya lo de siempre, me detenéis cuando algo no se entienda, o para repetirlo o para ampliarlo. Vamos a ver.
Perfecto.
Y luego ya hablamos después, sobre todo después, más largo y quizás según surja. Y ahora tampoco, o sea, ahora sí, ahora aunque también, o sea, que cortemos cuando lo necesitemos, pero lo que es hablar más largo, aviso de que vamos a hablar a lo mejor más después, ¿no? No lo sabemos. Bien, pues vamos allá.
Hannah, can I hand up from?
Ahora Hannah.
We still need to get back to the normal stuff.
Yeah, and I'm thinking of the time.
Ahora no están diciendo nada, por eso no está en la transcripción, están hablando del tiempo que queda, no sé qué.
20 more minutes or so.
Que dicen, es gracioso, porque dicen 2 minutos más o así, y en realidad se van a estar, pues, 1 hora casi más.
Thank you. I just wanted to thank you for sharing that anyway, because that's helped me.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to be able to ask this question, because I'm just really shaking, sweating all over.
Yeah. So very afraid, Hannah.
I've had a problem since I was young with pain down below, and I've never known why.
Yeah.
It's been from a very young age. Mum said I was always really sore. I like to take my nap off, so that's why I was. And every time I'd have sugar or not drink enough water, I would just get really red, raw sore.
Yeah.
I managed to be able to control it by not having so much sugar or just drinking loads of water or having lemon or something. And then when I started my first sexual relationship, I went on the contraceptive pill, and I started to have pain there all the time, just around the entrance of the vagina. And it's never gone away. It's like bright red sore. And if I have sex with my partner, it takes me about a week for that skin to recover. It's just so painful. And I'm obviously really scared because I've never shaken that.
So you'd like to know what it's about?
I really wanted to ask a question.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like the link with the sugar thing, because my little boy, I breastfed him, but he would scream every time I fed him, and he would crunch up in pain, and he couldn't hold the milk. He'd just poo it straight out, and I worked out that it's like he couldn't have the lactose, the sugar in my milk.
Yeah.
So at 6 weeks old, I had to decide I couldn't feed him any longer. But I sat on an express pump for 4.5 months so that he'd still get my milk, so I could treat it to take the lactose out.
Yeah.
He's still got a problem with sugar, and he just goes really hyperactive. And I've no idea what this thing is. And also just obviously that continuous pain down below.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask a question. I need a shower now.
So what's the question?
I don't know really.
That's all right.
I'm just really stuck with what it could be to do with, and why I just have continuous pain there. I mean, it's sensitive to the touch, really, I'd say, and obviously it's just around the area where I have sex. It's just painful.
And has your mum mentioned to you when it began in you?
Mum said she did say when I was young, but like a baby. But it's really strange what when people are saying that. And I remember going to hypnotherapy because I had got real anger issues with my dad. And I remember Mum just saying, when you said about they wouldn't even know that a child's being abused or something. I remember her saying, well, don't let them convince you that you may have been sexually abused, because I know that.
Voy a pasarlo otra vez para que lo leamos más despacio. Recuerdo haber ido a hipnoterapia, tengo verdaderos problemas de enojo con mi padre y mi madre diciendo, y aquí es como que le dice a Miguel, mira, que dijiste antes, aquello de ellos ni siquiera saben que el niño está siendo abusado o algo así. No sé si se refiere a los padres y a los espíritus o a los dos. Bueno, recuerdo que me dijo,
You were never abused, and I don't know why she'd just say that. Yeah, I don't know.
So when you went for therapy,
Hypnotherapy,
your mother said, don't let them convince you you've been abused.
Yeah, she said that to me.
Okay, no worries. Well, the truth is you may not have been abused by a person on earth, but that doesn't mean that you haven't been abused, for a start. You see, it's possible through the unhealed emotions of our parents that spirits can influence our body and therefore touch our body, and therefore we feel the sensations of that touch because of the unhealed emotions of our parents. So the reality is, let's look at your mum's emotions about sex. Let's start there. What are her emotions about sex that you know of? Has she ever talked to you about it?
I know she told me that she was touched by someone when she was about 5 years old, who was a friend of the family, who she really trusted.
Right. So she's told you she's been abused.
Yeah, but she only told me within the last year.
Okay. So her own emotions will have a large effect on your body when you're a little baby. Do you understand?
Okay, she seemed like she...
aquí dice, en tu cuerpo. Las emociones de la madre habrían tenido un efecto.
He wasn't really bothered about it, but you know, I don't understand that.
Most people who seem like they're not very bothered about abuse happening in their own life have yet to fully deal with the emotion, or have gone through the whole process, which is quite traumatic, and I've been through it myself, so I know what the process is, and have come out the other end. Now, I suggest to you your mother has not come out the other end, because if she had, your body would not be responding to her denied emotion. Your body, when you were little, was responding to her denied emotion about her own abuse. Do you understand?
Okay.
Now, in that state, she would also be completely open spiritually to you being abused. Because she's in so much denial herself, she's completely open spiritually. Now, that completely opens you to the potential of abuse on the earth, and it definitely opens you to the potential of abuse by spirits.
Maybe that's why I have those night terrors.
Exactly. So you'll find in the end that many of these feelings you have are linked together. You understand? Once you allow yourself to investigate. Many people on earth have not been abused sexually by another person on earth, but rather have been abused by spirits who have been able to touch the person because of the unhealed emotions of their parents. In other words, the mother of a child is being abused and she does not wish to deal with her emotions of being abused. That now allows an opening for a spirit to abuse her own child. Right? And then the mother says, but I never let you be abused because I've checked you, I've kept an eye on you all the time, not understanding that she has no way of keeping an eye on the spirits who are involved in her daughter's life. And the only way she has control of them is through healing her emotions about the issue. That's the only way she can prevent the abuse from spirits. And so what we find is that many people have had, once we've talked to them about this, many people start having the memories of a spirit abusing them rather than a person on earth. However, many spirits do not want to participate in the abuse alone. They want a person on earth to be involved in the abuse of a child. And so many spirits overcloak a person on earth and show them which child is open to abuse by the unhealed emotions of their parents. So in other words, they find a mother or a father who's been abused. They look at whether they have a child or not. And if the father or mother has not dealt with their abuse emotions, the spirit now has the opening to now abuse the child. And the spirit then connects with a person who's nearby them who has the desire to also, the sexual desires related to just the desire of connecting with the child, and then motivates that person into actual abusing the child sexually. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah.
And that happens almost in all cases of abuse, where a spirit has influenced the child and another adult to actually abuse a child that has been open to it because of the unhealed emotions of the parents involved.
Okay. And there's something I know for sure when you're talking about that sharp for flowing thing. I don't have contact with my dad, but I did see him a couple of months ago, which was a big mistake. But whenever he used to be around, I could never sit next to him, and I can't look in his face, but I can feel this just like, it's like interference in my base chakra. I can just feel this horrible interference, and
Right.
I've had that for a long time, but I never used to understand, and I just
You
used to
need
sit
to
away.
start trusting these feelings you have done and letting yourself feel about them. If you can trust the feelings without condemning them, it will lead you to the truth. What you're doing a lot is denying the feelings, like not trusting them, because your mother is telling you, in particular, you know, that's not true, that's not true, that's not true. I would never allow you that to happen to you, and so forth. And the reality is that while she has the unhealed emotion within herself, she is automatically allowing it to happen, the potentiality of it happening to you. That's the reality.
Because in my teenage years, I was so angry with my dad, and I just used to provoke a fight all the time just so I could get in physical fights. So physical fights about 3 or 4 days a week.
Yeah.
Where I get really beaten, but I wouldn't feel much of it. I suppose I was out of body, but I just used to want to provoke those fights.
Yeah. So what you need to look at is this feelings you have towards your father. Now, there's a potential of 2 things there too. One potential is that you're actually so connected to your mother that you're actually feeling her unexpressed rage towards your father. Does that make sense?
Yeah, she has
And her unexpressed rage towards men because of her abuse. Or it could be that your father was involved in some kind of sexual molestation of yourself. So they are the 2 potentials. So allow yourself to feel about those potentials rather than denying the feelings. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's really important to just let yourself feel the feelings, not draw any assumptions, not
make conclusions.
Don't draw any conclusions. Just let your body and your feelings let them have their experience, and at the end of it, you'll know what the truth is. But it's
Does that make sense, Hannah? Like, if you let yourself feel the feelings, that is the only way that you'll eventually end up with a conclusion. If you try to draw conclusions before you feel the feelings, you're not going to resolve the truth of this matter.
And to let the feelings have their conclusion as well, not start to have the feelings go, right, I know what the truth is. You know, let yourself really experience these different feelings that you have. Yeah.
The issue of incest on this planet is very murky because of spirit involvement. You know, there's spirit involvement in almost, or in every time I've ever seen a person, you know, on the receiving end of incest, there has always been involvement spiritually on the receiver and the person who's perpetrating the violence. So this makes it very murky and very hard to resolve the truth until we're through all of the emotion, and therefore until we're accepting all of the feelings. Yep.
Sure. Thank you.
Good on you. Good on you for being brave too. And rather than go further into the discussion of some of these things, can we go back to the question that you asked, which was this question about the general relationship and what happens with the general relationship? Most people are...
I
I just wanted to check if anyone had any just about that issue we're just discussing.
Incest?
Yeah.
Perhaps
quiere
you
preguntar
want to
sobre
answer
estas
those
cosas.
questions first?
Y ahí tienen un pequeño
Say yes or no, depending on what you desire.
Yeah, I just feel it's a very hot topic. It's very emotive for a lot of
Es un
people,
tema
and
muy
if
emotivo, dice.
it's important that we're clear about what we're saying and the
importante
messages that we're giving
Que haya claridad en
to everyone.
lo que
I feel that's,
estamos diciendo
is that
sobre
okay?
este tema. Por eso lo están alargando mucho y va a haber
Just
esta
a quick
pregunta que
one.
estamos viendo.
For a child, how subtle the sexual abuse can be?
I don't feel it's subtle at all.
Esto lo dice Emilio, no siento que
What
sea sutil en
constitutes-
absoluto.
You mean... how does a child feel abused sexually?
No, I mean...
No, I mean, like, if a man is just projecting sexually to his daughter, how does the daughter feel about that?
Yes, how the projections, how subtle.
Yes.
Maybe the occasional kiss or...
Well, for example, if an adult male has a feeling, a sexual feeling towards his own daughter, whether he acts upon that feeling or not, the daughter will feel that feeling, and it will feel quite bad for her. Now, she may, in fact, find herself acting in a couple of different ways as a result. She may then feel like very attracted to daddy because daddy's giving her feelings that she doesn't recognise and cannot separate as feelings that should be only going to her soulmate. And as a result of that, she starts feeling feelings for her dad that she doesn't understand, right? And that causes a distortion in all of her subsequent sexual relationships, right? So just the feeling of sexual attraction coming from a parent towards a child or an adult towards a child is automatically disturbing for the child if the child is open and unprotected from that feeling.
So can we say that any extra special, extra special attention besides your soulmate or your partner to anyone is a sexual...
Well, let's raise this issue more fully, if we can. If you think about it, here's a man, here's his wife, right, or his partner, here's the daughter, the child, right? Now, many times the man has certain feelings about his wife and his wife has certain feelings about him. Now, when his wife does not return the feelings that he's expecting from her as a part of love, and he remains in a relationship with her, if there is another woman or girl around him, he will begin projecting some of those feelings towards her. Now, they might not be sexual feelings. They might be feelings of, like, I want a woman to listen to me. So instead of projecting, I want my soulmate or my wife or my partner to listen to me, and the wife has said, no, I don't want to listen to you. Like, I'm tired of listening to you, or I'm tired of listening to men, or I don't want to listen to men. So she's blocked to that. What then happens is she's not giving that back. So what he does is he substitutes his daughter in place of his wife for that feeling, right? And the daughter will often then engage it because she wants daddy's approval and acceptance and love.
Se sustituye a su hija como receptora de ese sentimiento. Se sobreentiende aquí que está un poco la traducción después de los repasos, tampoco ha quedado ahí. Ya, aquí si me tenéis que parar porque la cosa no va a ser súper complicada, pero sí merece la pena a lo mejor detenerse. Y bueno, vamos a seguir. La hija a menudo se involucra.
Love and attention and so forth. And now the daughter has supplanted or replaced one of the roles that the wife by nature should have in the relationship.
Sometimes it's even not a role that the wife would lovingly have. It may be that he's very demanding.
I mean, it's a role that he expects the woman to have.
Yes.
So
ahora comprendo, Iván.
Sí.
Claro. Ahora comprendo, en una separación, yo conocí al hombre, sería de la pareja, y había quedado una bebé de 2 años más o menos, y yo le decía que no estaba bien, y él la besaba en la boca a la bebé, no con un beso apasionado, digamos así, adulto, le daba el piquito, decimos acá,
Sí, a mí también.
y le decía, ella es la novia de papá.
Fíjate.
Que yo le decía, pero eso es muy, yo cuestionaba sin este argumento, pero yo le decía, eso no está bien o no es correcto lo que estás haciendo. Por supuesto que era otra vez la conciencia actuando en ese sentido, porque yo le decía, eso no, pero ella es la novia de papá que a 2 años tiene, como que es una forma de decir, me dijo, pero en ese momento yo no me pareció, digamos, sano, bueno.
Claro, porque ya sintiendo las emociones reales.
Claro, ahora comprendo, claro, esa reciprocidad no estaba y él todavía anhelaba de alguna forma recibirlo de la madre. Claro.
Eso ya, que desde tan pronto, sí, es increíble.
Sí, 2 años, sí, imagínate todo lo que queda ahí grabado, sí.
Se está programando un poco. Sí,
claro, porque si se quiere o no, implica la sexualidad, digamos, a ese punto,
Claro.
De alguna forma por el contacto, la forma del contacto, el beso en la boca y la denominación, que para nada es inocente en cuanto al término, por decir, da lo mismo que digas, ella es la novia de papá, que ella es la hija de papá, que era otra, o sea, había una intencionalidad, si se quiere, y bueno, me comprendo ahora con esto.
¿Sabes esa familia ahora o no?
No, separados, sí, totalmente separados. De todas formas,
La hija, ¿no?
claro, en las circunstancias en las que puedo por ahí encontrar algunos patrones comunes, están separados ya cada uno con su vida, pero tenía como muchos atributos ella de su madre, así que quedó como, no sé cuál será ahora el estado, pero quedó muy vinculado con esa experiencia.
Pero la niña estás diciendo que ha crecido mucho y está...
No. La pareja, digamos, está totalmente disuelta. La niña tendrá un año más, ya 3 por ahí.
Ah, es muy pequeña. Vale, no, es que
Es chiquita, es muy chiquita.
Claro.
Pero ahora se entiende con todo esto, si ella ya de bebé, imagínate todo lo que sucede y lo que el alma todo lo graba, eso también nosotros como que jugamos mucho en este aspecto de decir, es niño, no entiende, o todo eso, ¿viste?
Claro.
O minimizamos. Bueno, yo otra situación que conozco, por ejemplo, que tiene que ver así como el padre canchero, por decirte, que habla qué linda la colita, ese ya como que ya empieza como cierta, esa distorsión, como que está, o es la autoridad, como bueno, pero soy papá, y más vale que te lo diga yo y no que te lo diga otro, o, por ejemplo, ¿no? Eso. Y que de alguna manera lo que está evidenciando es que la está viendo sexualmente, por decir,
Sí.
está reconociendo
Fíjate,
ese insecto.
aquí claro que todo eso degrada automáticamente, sí, el alma de toda proyección sexual.
Sí.
Pero es que están a la orden del día, que se dice, ¿no? Es casi como
Sí,
está en la
es
tele.
algo naturalizado totalmente.
Sí, hay algunos reportajes, entrevistas de presidentes como Trump, pero todos son, en realidad parece que están muchos de ellos, de todos los bandos, en cosas pedófilas, muchas veces incluso más organizadamente, ¿no? Pero de Trump hablando de su hija, así sexualizándola, sí, se intenta normalizar ahora la pedofilia, como estamos viendo. Sí, de algunas maneras. Bueno, pues seguimos.
Sí, va.
Sí.
Sí.
He is now no longer expecting it from his wife or partner, but now he's expecting it from his daughter. Now, this automatically creates a distortion in his relationship with his daughter. It also creates a distortion in her. She is now going to have an undue connection with her father that normally she would be giving to her soulmate, right? Somebody else instead. So now there's a tie. Now, this man might project or have another expectation of his wife that she does other things. So for example, that she likes his body, right? So he might parade around naked in front of his wife, right? Wanting his wife to like his body, and his wife doesn't like his body. So he continues to parade around naked, right? But now he parades around naked in front of his daughter, wanting his daughter. Is going to be a projection. You like my body, you like my body. Now, he's still not engaged with any sexual act with his daughter, but now if she then accepts that projection and says, Daddy, and has a feeling of liking Daddy's body, can you see now she is going to want somebody that has the same body as Daddy to connect to sexually? So it's distorting her desires and passions even further. Now, he might have another emotion that he first attempts to go to his wife, where he wants his wife to recognise that he is the provider and supporter of the family. He's the provider. He's the man who makes everything secure. And she might go, you don't make me feel secure. I'm totally able to care for myself. Thank you very much. So now, if he's still in his expectation and his addiction, he then projects at his daughter. Mate, I am the person who protects you, and I'm the person who makes you feel secure, and I'm the person who makes you feel safe. Now, she, of course, doesn't have the same feelings as the wife, and so she will feel back to him, yes, Daddy, you make me feel safe and secure. I love this relationship with you. It makes me feel like I'm a good woman and I'm safe and secure. Can you see what's happening? Now, he still may have sex with his wife, and she still may give him to him sexually. That might be still happening. But all of these other emotions that would normally go to his soulmate in a pure relationship, or heal his expectations if they were out of place or out of harmony with love, he would need to heal them. Instead of healing them, he's now projecting them at his daughter. And his daughter is going to respond emotionally to that because she is undeveloped. She is unable to determine whether this is right or wrong. She's unable to say, no, I shouldn't have this with Daddy. I should have this with my soulmate or whatever. And she will actually finish up having a very, very close bond with her father that she doesn't wish to give up. And in fact, she might, in her adult life, she may grow up to be an adult woman. So here she is as an adult woman now, grown up, able to engage sexually with other men and so forth. And she engages with other men sexually, but every other part of the soulmate relationship is actually aimed at her father still. And he treats this person okay as long as this person doesn't take away any of these other emotions that he's getting from her. So while she's getting a feeling, while she's giving him a feeling like you're my safety and you're my security, she's fine. But as soon as she projects that at this man, he is now jealous of this man and gets angry and upset and all sorts of things start happening, right?
Ahora se entiende el tema de las suegras y de los suegros, que
Claro, sí,
partirse de las emociones. No,
sí.
es unas emociones muy profundas de alma gemela con los padres que ni te has enterado de esas proyecciones, y luego tienes una
Sí.
pareja y con la pareja pues ya solo tienes sexo. Y a lo mejor proyectas contra esa pareja nueva que tienes, el novio de verdad, la novia, lo que sea, proyectas y le dices que solo me quieres por el sexo. Y eres tú en realidad, que todas las emociones las tienes, ¿no?
Claro.
Y por ley de la atracción a lo mejor nos buscamos una pareja que solo sea sexo, cosas así, ¿no? Fijaos cómo abre esto, ¿no?
Sí, sí, Iván. Bueno, yo justamente eso estoy comenzando a comprender de algunas cosas. En mi caso, digamos.
Igual.
Claro.
Vale, seguimos.
Now, these dynamics are very, very common. None of them come from a sexual injury in the sense of a sexual, like where sexual incest has actually occurred, but there are sexual injuries that causes the man to not deal with the issue with his partner and causes them instead to seek these same emotions from his daughter.
And it actually creates a great deal of sexual injury in the daughter.
In the daughter.
Yeah.
She will then act upon these injuries with other males as a result of the injuries that have been created in her. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's like a soul-based sexual energy exchange.
Yes, well, he might actually feel that she should be asexual, so he might project that at her. A good woman doesn't have sex with anybody. He might project that at her, right? And she says, no worries, Daddy, a good woman doesn't have sex with anybody. I'm a good woman, so I'm not going to have sex with anybody. I'm not going to actually connect sexually with anybody. So, but then she might want to have attention, or she might want to have affection. So how does she get this? She either gets the affection from her father, in other words, he gives her the hugs and she sits on his lap and he gives her the hugs and so forth, or she tries to get it from another male with the competition of her father, which he doesn't like. So she has to risk the anger and rage of her father in order to join with another male in that regard.
And because she's received this message that a good woman is asexual, as soon as she tries to connect sexually with another man, there's huge amounts of shame triggered within her.
Because a good woman is asexual and not a sexual being. Can you see how a distorted relationship between really it's the unhealed emotions in this dynamic that create the desires being pushed to the child, which then means the child now has these unhealed emotions sexually. And now when the child enters a relationship as an adult, it's now in competition. There's competing factors. There's this man's competing with this person for her sexual interest. Right? And so can a soulmate joining actually occur if this is a soulmate? No. Soulmate joining cannot occur until she heals these unfortunate injuries within herself. And while she goes through the process of attempting to do that, it's highly likely she's going to receive her father's rage at the same time, because he's used to getting all these emotions from her.
So in the perfect family, a man will just engage in energy exchange with the partner only and just show an example to the child.
So in a perfect family, let's look at what would happen in a perfect family where the emotions, even if the emotions aren't healed, in a good relationship, what will happen is mum and dad will have these exchanges. He will have a feeling, she will have a feeling, he will have a feeling, she will have a feeling. Now, some of the exchanges are where he will have a feeling for her, but she doesn't have a corresponding feeling for him. The first thing he would need to do is begin to firstly question himself. Do I have an unloving expectation of my wife? Is that why she's not giving me this thing? He needs to work his way through that. Now, if he's worked his way through that and he feels that what is, the exchange is a loving exchange, then what he would need to do is talk to her about that, and she would need to look at it. So for example, if he always listens to her, but she never listens to him, now that's an unloving exchange, isn't it? One person is listening, the other person is not. Now, what he would need to do then is say, okay, why is it you do not want to listen to me? He would firstly need to feel some grief about the fact she doesn't want to listen to him. But instead, what often happens is he says, right, my wife's not listening to me, so instead I'll get the next girl in my family, whoever that happens to be. Sometimes it's his mother rather than his wife, but sometimes it's his daughter rather than his wife, or a cousin, or a niece, or other than his wife, daughter-in-law even, right? He will look for another woman to fulfill that emotionally, right? And it's the process of looking for the other one to fulfill it emotionally that creates the emotional damage in the other person.
Now, he would still have exchanges with his daughter, obviously, but they wouldn't be based on the soulmate relationship. Yeah.
He wouldn't be trying to get from his daughter what he would normally get from a partner.
Well, if he's a really loving dad, he's not trying to get anything from her.
Does that make sense?
He would engage her.
He would just love her. He would just love her, care about her, and
teach her about her own will
and her own desires. He wouldn't impose any of his own desires upon her. Yeah. Yeah. Does that make sense? It was a good question, actually.
Yeah, it was good.
It was a subject, actually, myself and Mary wanted to cover as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, in a...
Hasta aquí. Bueno, súper instructivo.
Sí. Comprendo, Iván, cómo las estadísticas de los casos de abuso es conocido que se manejan con el entorno familiar, claro, estratégicamente, por lo que decían al principio, que buscan a alguien cercano para el espíritu, digamos, para perpetrar la herida es proyectada en el niño, y generalmente, si no está disponible, digamos, por decir el padre o la madre, utilizan a otras personas. Y eso es parte de las estadísticas, nada más que en el estudio, en la investigación, digamos, no entra todo esto. Claro, y nunca va a ser un cuento de nunca acabar.
Pues, sí, si no sanamos las heridas,
Claro.
los espíritus...
Por más que lo encarceles y todo lo que hagamos, digamos, que justamente también es el objetivo eso, ¿no? La división entre almas y
claro, sí, promover más
justos
castigo.
contra pecadores, digamos.
Sí, más miedo, más...
Claro, sí, que es lo que estamos haciendo, atacando, e incluso en algunos casos que la justicia, el sistema de justicia, digamos, del hombre no satisfaga, también se comete justicia por mano propia y todo esto. Como, claro, ojo por ojo, diente por diente, digamos.
Claro, muy interesante. La verdad que muy interesante.
Sí, es súper claro ahí el taller.
Claro, esto de hacer esquemas, ir explicando, está bueno. Yo, bueno, desde ayer, que como uno se da cuenta de la intervención de los espíritus, es una pregunta que me ronda la cabeza. Y bueno, esto es como dice Claudia, las estadísticas muestran lo del abuso que es mayormente intrafamiliar y doméstico, como que el grupo primario, secundario siempre son los abusadores.
Bueno, pues ahí tenemos el texto para mirarlo otra vez, que no estoy añadiendo los esquemitas que hace, que se podrían mirar en la transcripción original o en el vídeo, ¿no? Aquí no sé si se ven bien entonces, porque la pizarra hay mucha luz en la sala esa donde lo hacía y como que se ve muy delgado la línea, ¿no?
Sí, es chiquita para los que suelen usar ellos y va bastante. Como que algunas cosas también eliminan y otras conservan, no sé, a raíz de qué, digamos, pero sí se ve sobrecargada. Todo, por ejemplo, pero bueno.
Bueno, pues vamos a dejar de grabar y ya comentamos. Seguiremos con este taller, seguramente completando. Muchas gracias y hasta la siguiente.
Muchas gracias, Iván.
Saludad a vuestra.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias, Iván. Saludos.
Gracias.